County Board of Supervisors, we have an agenda in front of us. I'd like to have a 10B that says cyber insurance. I'd like to have a 10C.
10A, you mean?
Well,
Or 11.
Wait.
Well, I got 11.
Or you want to minus
cyber
it?
insurance. You want to talk about?
Oh, you're under insurance, okay.
well,
Yeah. Okay.
and 10C, Carl Sullivan letter. And 10D, ordinance 15. We cannot act on them today, but for discussion purposes.
Put everything under 10.
Yeah,
All right.
instead of about 12 or whatever, doesn't matter, I mean.
They're on there. Anything else? I don't have anything. You have anything?
What was D?
Ordinance 15.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, make a motion to approve this amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and second, we approve the agenda. Further discussion, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. County attorney is a little bit late. Valent project update, item 3. Tom, you're up.
In front of you guys today, we're going to have a resolution that sets the bid dates for the Osage project. The dates are, can I see if it's quick roll?
Oh, me, yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to open up bids on April 4th, which is a Thursday, and we're going to award it at the April 9th Board of Supervisor meeting. Okay, just to let you know what the dates are. In between there, which will be Wednesday, March 27th, I think it is, there's a mandatory pre-bid meeting for contractors. You guys will all get copies of notice of the contractors that we sent out to contractors. You're all welcome to attend any of this stuff, okay? We just gotta be a little bit careful on how you guys deal with public meetings. Bid opening's not a formalized agenda meeting, so I'll make sure that there's not too many people there. Other than that, you're welcome to do whatever you guys or want to designate somebody to go whatever you want to do.
What would that be?
That's a very good question. Jerry has been so kind as to offer City Hall as a bid opening place if you guys would like to take advantage of that. Just let me know, because what we'll do is we'll send out the letters with the correct addresses and stuff on it where to send the bids to, or the bid opening is going to be. And if it's going to be City Hall, let me know and we'll go ahead and do that. But I think it's a decent venue for that.
Consensus of the board, City Hall?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Consensus of the board.
You got it then. Do you guys got any questions? And between now and then, we still have to have a get-together with the city utilities and go over these plans so you guys are aware of exactly what we're doing out there and why we got to do it. Okay, that's my overall goal. And I'd really like to get that done, if we could, maybe in the next 2 weeks. So I'm not sure what you guys' schedules look like. I'm sure you're pretty busy, but what I'll do is maybe I'll talk with Dunny. I'll go over there after this meeting and see if he can coordinate with his utility guys on when it'd be some decent dates. I'll run it by Lowell and maybe we can get a consensus going here. Okay. Evening probably works the best for most of them guys. What do you guys think?
Be fine.
Okay.
I think Monday's the only evening we're meeting right
Okay. No Mondays then, no problem.
You're talking next week?
Well, or the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Just let me know what night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday probably get that for me.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll pick a few dates, run it by you guys, pick it up. Other than that, that's it as far as what's going on right now.
Okay, let's drop down to item 4. This would be resolution number 856-13, a resolution ordering bids, notice to bidders, fix amount of bid security, and ordering auditor to publish notice and fixing a date for receiving same, and for a public hearing on plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the construction of the wastewater treatment facility improvements for Mitchell County, Iowa.
So moved.
Okay.
now. I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. Voigtlander.
Aye.
Morel. motion carried.
And I will send you the public notice, so you can when you
Okay.
publish and everything, okay?
Yep.
All right, guys, have a great day. I'm gonna go over and talk to Jerry, we get everything set up in City Hall then for the bid opening, okay?
Well,
All right, take care,
Thanks,
guys.
Tom.
Thank you.
let's go back to item number 2, county attorney general discussion.
I have nothing. The only thing that I had on this, and Tom and I discussed this, I said it seems kind of strange that you actually have the bids before you've accepted the plans. And he said, well, we've always done it that way, and so that's, you know, because you're not actually accepting the plans until April 9th, but you're having bid on April 4th. But he said, we've always done it that way.
The thing of it is, it's the final plan.
Yeah.
Till you get to that point, it can be all changed around.
Yeah, but how can you have people bid?
That's exactly
You know,
I
you know, they're,
Give me the plan.
the
Don't
plans
give me
are
one.
out there, people are bidding on them, and the plans haven't even been approved yet. But he said that's the way we've always done it, so why, I guess, upset the cart. Other than that, I really don't have anything.
Are you gonna be sticking around for the budget hearing then?
Yeah.
Before that, if Richie comes in, we got a couple items that we want to
Okay.
go through, well, as long as Sheriff Beaver's here and you're here and Richie's here, why?
Yep, nope, that's fine.
Okay. Basically, I guess we can drop down to item 8, approve the minutes. Did everybody have a chance to read them?
I did, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second that.
It's been moved and second, we approve the minutes, further discussion. Hearing none, Morel.
Aye.
Volkman.
Aye.
Watt, aye, motion carried. Rate increase at county care facility. Did we all have a chance to?
Well, yeah, we had to increase the rates out there because it seems to be that they're not able to keep their heads above water. I think a lot of it has to do with the cost reports and how they're put together. In fact, I went out and picked up a cost report out there and I was going through it, and they have nothing for the facility, they have nothing for mileage or cars, and so I have to get a hold of whoever filled that out as to why not, because I know they transport, you know, the
Yeah, they're hauling
residents
around
around.
every day.
Yeah.
And that facility is valued at $770,000. Now, that facility to me is not free by any stretch of the imagination. Now, they don't put anything down there for,
Depreciation or that, yeah.
they do, it didn't show up on that sheet that I had. Of course, the report's that thick, so I'm not
Is that
the
something that-
accountant, so.
Okay. Is that something that Bob Lincoln should be helping them on, or?
Well, at our CSS, I called Bob, and I believe Bob's been talking with Barb, you know, because she's the one that cut him off. There's no more money in your account, we're not paying the bills. So at our CSS meeting, one of the things I was gonna report on through CSS, we did raise the daily rate for 6 beds out there to $131.30 and 6 beds to $102. Now, I don't know what the difference is. One's service and maintenance and one's service only. And you got to ask Bob what that all entails, but plan on keeping kind of on top of this because, you know, the whole idea of that, the waiver thing out there was that it was to become standalone, not more county tax dollars, you know, to be run as a business. Now, we all toured the Larrabee Center down in Waverly, I think it was, and
Right.
Bob took us all. Now, those all facilities are residential care type, and these folks are on the waivers. Now, whoever owns those facilities, I'm sure, are getting paid for those houses weren't free.
Right.
So, I don't know, I've gotta keep going on that, but we have to approve these rate increases here too. Our board, the CSS board approved them on Friday. We should have probably approved them beforehand, but we couldn't because of the time constraints, but. So anyway, I'd make a motion that we approve for the county care facility, the two rates that the CSS board approved on.
I will second that motion.
Been moved and second that we approve the rate increases as presented. Further discussion? Want to thank you for keeping a heads up on this, Supervisor Oaklander.
Well,
So,
it's something we gotta do, cause,
Yeah.
it's our job. You know, but, yeah, I wanna keep going with it too, because
You're on county social services, so.
right, yep,
it's a-
it kind of correlates together, so. No, I'll keep on, see where we, where it comes
Appreciate
out,
that.
because they need to be able to make, almost make a profit.
we may-
Now, here's another thing, I'll bring it up, I was gonna mention that. A lot of these cost reports, and one of the gentlemen there, I think he was from Webster County, and they have, some of them are actual cost reports, some are projected cost reports, and some of them take your costs of 2 years. In the past, and he says those are the ones where you get this downward spiral, where you can never keep up. You know, you're supposed to be able to, like say the county care, we put in new boilers out there. Well, somewhere along the line, those should have been,
In that cost report.
and
We need somebody different to do the cost report.
well, that's what I'm kinda wondering. And I asked that question at the CSS meeting, now that we're 21 counties, is there anybody in our 21 counties who has a better grasp of doing cost reports, so that we are not forgetting, you know.
You can amend them too. If you get somebody to help, you can go back and amend those.
Well, we may have to do that.
Ms. Morris, we're running a meeting today. We will not interrupt it unless you ask permission,
I'm
please.
sorry.
But, still, I mean, we need to stay on top of it, and I will, so.
Further discussion? Hearing none, Oaklander.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Watt. Aye. Motion carried. Insurance values on county property, item 10.
That Heartland Insurance Risk.
Well, I haven't seen them yet, but that's why, one of the things was that I had noticed that the county care is $770,000, is that there's almost $750,000 for that facility. I mean-
Place it for that.
No, I know. And also heard through the grade, I talked to Claudia the other day and found 3 road graders we didn't know we had either. So they'll get added to the schedule of equipment.
Were those the ones we bought in Canada? or-
I don't know,
No, those were ones, used ones, I think, that we bought here about 2 years ago, probably just never got added.
Didn't we buy them all out of Canada?
Right. I don't know that they really came.
Those last three?
Yeah.
No, they were used, so.
I think these are the.
Yeah.
New ones came out
The
of
older
that
ones.
Volvo.
The new ones came out of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I gotta pick that up and, when, I used to get a copy of that, but I didn't get one this year. It must have went right to Claudia. So her.
We all used to get,
Right.
like you say, the,
And if I can get a copy of that, I'll get you guys one and we can go through it. Yeah, we still have a little time now. And then on the insurance values on the county property, that might be where that came up, that we wanted to talk about. I contacted Judy, and now that we're out of the old courthouse, she says you need to keep enough on that to, in case a tornado or whatever would come along and blow it down, to be able to clean it up. But as you're not there anymore, I don't know that we're going to, or they will even insure it if it's not being used. It's basically like an abandoned building. She was gonna talk to Genesis and get back to me on that, and I hadn't heard anything more from her.
well, should we hold up on doing anything until after the 14th? I mean, isn't that when we're supposed to get a report on what it's gonna cost?
Well,
Kind of,
so the water shut off, the gas is shut off, it's pretty much.
but I mean, shouldn't we be getting a report
Yeah.
about that time
I
on
would
what they
hope.
estimate it's gonna cost to build new, what it's gonna estimate to refurbish,
That's,
and, I mean, that's gonna give us kind of an idea too of what direction this thing is probably gonna be taking. Or,
Yeah,
or
that's-
maybe both balls will be in the air, I mean, or one or the other, you know, depending on what that report all says. Okay.
Anyway, Judy hasn't gotten back to me yet, so I can't, I don't have any more to say on that.
Okay, so we'll take a look at that here in another week or two.
Right, hopefully I'll have something by next week, and if I hear about it, I'll get to Lowell right away.
Okay. We're gonna have a little bit of time here right now. Well, I guess we can go to meetings attended and that.
Did you want that cyber? Oh, you put that on your letter.
Mr. Phillips, I understand your grandson is doing a project. Would you want to introduce him? And
Yes, this
just
is-
explain a little bit what,
This is my grandson Josiah Meyer, and he's working on badges for his Eagle Scout. And one of the well, actually, it's an excellent program, I think, because they require to get it a badge in citizenship of the community, citizenship of the nation, and citizenship of the world. He's completed the world, and his assignments here are to write up a chart of county government, to attend a supervisors meeting, and some others in the community, and from one of them, either the school board or town council or you folks, to find an issue and then write up both sides of it and so on. So if he chooses something we pick up today, maybe we'll be after one of you. But this is Josiah Meyer. You want to say hello?
Hello.
and what grade is he in then?
I'm in 6th.
I don't know if you'd ever find an issue in the county. Just kidding.
You're our main target.
Imagine that. Meetings attended.
CSS, and I kind of gave you the rundown on that. That was out of Waterloo. Our last 3 counties will not come on, join until April 1st, but we also are still have a $7.4 million projected fund balance at the end of 13, so that's going along. We're cleaning up all the old Medicaid claims. Hopefully we'll have those, because the state's taking over all the Medicaid in the coming year. And other than that, it's just pretty much approve the claims and approve moving money to Butler County, $3 million, I believe, this time around. So that was my meeting down there.
Didn't have any official meetings, I just attended the Dancing for the Dream for the NIVIC fundraiser. I don't have the final numbers yet on how much money they raised, but I'm quite sure they exceeded their goal of $25,000. This was the 5th annual event. It was held at the Surf Ballroom. They had 8 couples dance in front of a crowd of several hundred people. And they also had a silent auction there for parts. And I actually got to hand the trophy to the winner. That was about it for me for last week.
And I have no meetings. From your management, why don't we just finish
We
this
have
up?
one, Griffiths Finisher Farm in section 14 of East Lincoln Township.
So noted. Since Richie is now here, Engineer Brum, we did have a letter from Carl Solomon. Did everybody, County Attorney Walk, did you get a copy of it?
No.
Sheriff Beaver, did you get a
In
copy?
reference to car crashes on county roads?
Yes.
Yeah, I do have a copy, and I have read it. Yep.
And,
I didn't see it.
okay.
And the engineer's box with the auditor's
Oh, I
office.
haven't gotten it yet.
Why don't I just go through it real quick? It says, greetings to all. The Heartland Insurance Risk Pool Board recently asked that I write this letter, actually an urgent reminder about a situation that has recently deteriorated in some HIRP counties. In some recent situations, Heartland counties have been sued for automobile accidents on their county secondary roads where the accident victim alleged county negligence because of the roads were 1, not properly designed, 2, improper improperly signed, or 3, inadequately maintained. When an accident occurs, the statute of limitation is 2 years for personal injury and maybe longer, and 5 years for property loss and maybe longer. The problem is that the county can be sued, and often is, years after the accident occurred, only then first learning a collision occurred on a county road. At that point, the county has no contemporaneous, or some damn thing like that.
Contemporaneous.
Yeah, that one too. Evidence of its own to defend itself, like photos, scene drawings, measurements, the engineer's assessment of road conditions, and is at the mercy of the other people suing it. Long ago in the late 1990s, the risk pool coordinated with all counties in setting up communications between the sheriff's office and the county's engineer's office when an accident occurred on a county road which might someday leave the county sued. Because sheriff's deputies frequently respond to such accidents, it was arranged the engineer's office would be notified as soon as possible that such an accident has occurred on a county road. That way the engineer's office could, I should say should, go to the scene and immediately make an independent engineering assessment of whether any roadway conditions, design, signage, or maintenance played a role in this situation. The photographs, scene measurements, and other road conditions important to the later good defense when the county is sued, as examined for the expert eye of the county engineer, are almost always far more important as proof than the investigating deputy's accident reports, photos which are orientated to assisting the prosecuting attorney in criminal traffic cases. Under this urgent reminder, I hope to renew the county's contacts between all county sheriff departments and engineers' offices. When an auto accident of any type, single or multiple car collisions, occur on a county road as standard operative protocol, 1, the sheriff's department must make immediate contact upon the county engineer or his designee, so that 2, the county engineer can make an immediate independent assessment of road conditions and preserve that assessment by photographs of the road conditions, maintenance, signage, and that. Basically, everything I guess is understood.
Greg's been calling whenever we've had something that I've known about. So.
Yeah.
And I'll do my best to get out there as soon as we can, or I'll send somebody out.
Take a lot of pictures.
No, that has to happen. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Any additional comments, County Attorney Walker?
I'm just trying to think if Mitchell County's ever been sued because of that I can remember in recent history. Can you, Rich, remember?
No, and the question I have is, where is it that, the county is ever negligent in, if we don't know a problem, we can't fix it. We're out there every day, and we're covering our routes when we can, but we can't be everywhere at all times. That's just impossible. But
Well, I mean, basically,
as far as maintenance and things like that, we keep our signage up. We do our best to keep our signage up. Things are a lot different as far as the traffic we have now versus what they were when the roads were designed. Part of me says there's some personal responsibility on the person driving.
He's the one that's gonna come at you
Right, but
for that limb you left on the road.
well,
Oh, we didn't leave the limb there. Well, we didn't. Did you have a photograph of that?
well, that's just it. That's the tough part.
That's it. People are not above just plain out lying, if they think they've got something to gain.
We don't try to ignore any hazards when we get told about
No,
them.
I know we don't. And we've gotten always good, people are always saying how well we maintain the roads in Mitchell County, so. But I think it's still a good idea if we
Oh, I don't disagree at all.
do that.
And I know that the sheriff's department, they've taken pictures, and I know that one accident I went out to, they looked and made sure the signage was where it needed to be. I mean, whether it was there or not, or whether it was destroyed in the accident, they kept me well informed.
Yeah, we'll continue to do that, Rich, yeah.
I guess that's all we can do. The best we can do.
I know signs are expensive, and we have, I think, it costs us over $10,000 a year just to replace damaged signs and that, if I remember right. You know, people shooting them and so on and so forth, but I guess again, I'd rather see it the county oversigned than undersigned, because like you say, one.
Depending on what signs we're talking about, but that's what our new, you know, we passed that resolution a year ago on, you know, the feds were requiring us the sign reflectivity and everything else, so that kind of gets us into the system of inspecting them every 2 years for reflectivity, and at that time too, we know what's there and what's not, or what needs to be replaced.
Item 10D is Mitchell County Ordinance 15, Section 5. I believe this was suggested again by, was it Carl?
Right.
Carl Solomon, that we add a new paragraph.
He reviewed the county snow ordinance that they have on file, and he suggested that we also add paragraph 5, or paragraph 2, section 5, I should say, and that's in the back. And that basically states, you want to read it, Stan?
Yeah. Have you seen this county engineer, Brown?
Yes.
Have you seen the new paragraph?
No.
Okay. It says, when any ice storm or blizzard creates conditions that vehicles are abandoned on county roads such that snow and ice maintenance operations are halted and unable to clear the roadway under the circumstances of an, quote, emergency, unquote, as defined in this section, the Board of Supervisors may declare an emergency authorizing county maintenance or private towing company vehicles to clear the roadway sufficient to continue snow and ice maintenance operations.
But I think we have to meet and declare an emergency.
That would be my only question. County Attorney Watt, would we really need to call a special meeting, or could the chair call an emergency?
I think that would have to be in the resolution, that the board authorizes, the board designates the chair to be able to declare an emergency. I mean, you can designate that authority to the chair.
I would think that would make more sense than trying to get a hold of the whole board and then try to call a meeting, and that emergency would be over by then.
Yeah. All right.
Would Supervisor Volklander, would you want Carl to rewrite this, or would, and County Attorney Watt?
We're changing our ordinance, we have to
Are you changing an ordinance?
add in a paragraph, or
That has to go.
You have to put it in the paper, or
Public hearing.
amendment, and you have to have public hearing.
Right, we understood that, but I mean,
If you want to give me that, I can just get a hold of Carl and say, what's on this? Can I see the ordinance? Do you have it? Okay. Is that all right if I keep that?
Yep.
I'll just get a hold of him
I'll
and
make
ask him
another
if we can,
copy.
if we can add that language.
yep.
We'll keep going on if we need it.
this one would have been here a lot earlier, except for the US Postal Service don't know where the courthouse is.
It's now the postal no service.
Postal no service, where we are
Changing the
located,
name.
so that had to be sent to my house.
Okay,
There's an issue for you.
Stick around, you'll have a whole list.
his thesis will be why I do not want to run for county supervisor. It is 9 o'clock. It is time for the public hearing on the Mitchell County fiscal year 2014 budget. At this time, I will open the public hearing. Supervisors, have you received any comments, written or oral?
I've received none.
I haven't received any also.
County Auditor Tesh and Deputy Auditor Baldwin, have you received any comments, written or oral? Department heads, have you received any comments, written or oral?
No.
No.
No, I'm not.
Would the public like to comment?
Yes, I would, thank you, Stan. I was looking over this, I just picked it up yesterday, And first of all, I would like to mention the debt service fund. The county services building, I understand, is paid for this year, correct?
Say, just a second, Betty. Maybe we should have Barb do a little briefing on what is in the budget net first. How would that be?
Yeah, I could go over,
And then I'll get back to you.
as you know, valuations increased by $19,582,833. Part of that was due to rollback increase. For ag, it was 57.5411 last year. This year it's 59.9344. Residential was 50.7518 last year, and this year it's 52.8166. Our levy stayed the same for the total levy. Part of that was due to mental health, levy decreased. And general basic stayed the same. Supplemental levy, I increased it a little due to IPERS and health insurance increase. Rural basic stayed the same. Debt service levy increased due to some interim financing we had to do for the Valiant plan, for engineering fees, attorney fees, the planning consultant. So we gotta pay some interest back on that. In the rural basic, we added 2 more deputies in there, plus the benefits, so that helped the supplemental levy, and we didn't have to increase that as much as we thought at first. And then the wind turbines for the TIF revenue, they increased from 10 to 15% based on the amount of turbines in each tax district, so. That's about it.
Okay, now Betty, if you would like to.
Yes, it was my understanding that the county services building was paid for, and I went back and looked at last year's. And previous, under debt service fund, always in parentheses, it said county services building. This year, that's out. So I was wondering, you are levying for debt service this year, and you're levying more than you did last year or the year before. And so what will that debt service be for?
That's what I said, we borrowed interim financing, so we have to pay some of that back, the interest on that.
Okay.
For the attorney fees, planning, and that for the sewer treatment.
And that wasn't gonna go under the bond thing.
It isn't yet, because there's no value yet for the Valiant plant,
Okay.
so you can't use that yet.
Okay, then my other question under TIF revenue, and I went back and I have the bond schedule payments, and I guess I'm rather confused because well, I looked back on what was in the budget for 2011, 2012, and that was the first year that, Barb, that you had budgeted for TIF revenue, and you budgeted $367,074, I believe, or 94, I don't remember, anyway. And the bond payments that year were $453,397. So here it says that you had an ending fund balance, and I guess I don't understand when the bond payments were more than the actual revenue. And then, Barb, I did look, and you have actual, you budgeted $367, and actually it was only $335,332, and that is an actual figure now. So actually,
But I think that 400,000 has something else in it. That's more than just.
I'm just going by what you budgeted for TIF revenue.
I don't know, I guess I'd have to look back.
Well,
Because that would be a guesstimate too, when we
Well,
first started that.
No, I understand that, and you said you wouldn't know till the schools came in, you know, with theirs, but now you do have that actual figure for 11-12, and it was $335,332. And actually, I had the bond schedule payments, and they were actually $453,397. So on your sheet, it says that there's an ending fund balance of $114,002. And I don't understand how there could be an ending fund balance when the
Because
bond payments were more than the
I
TIF
was
revenue.
able to use some of the capital projects money I had left over yet to make some of that payment.
So
before I
actually,
collected
that'll
on
have,
TIF.
that'll have to be paid back then, right? To the TIF. I mean, yeah,
Correct,
run it
it'll
up.
go into the
So,
TIF fund.
I guess, and then,
We get more TIF money in, and
Yeah.
we'll pay that back.
well, yeah, and I understand, but you know, then this year, on the reestimate, or I mean, for this current year, you put 836,947 in the, and that's off the budget sheet, because I have those. And actually, the payment, well, my addition was 903,397 from the bond schedule payments, but you have
Wow.
905,000.
That's because the Bankers Trust charges us agent fees,
Oh, okay.
so we have to add that on top.
So that isn't in the bond schedule payments? Oh, okay, okay. So actually, then it, I mean, you're short there again, and actually it shows again, you know, ending fund balance. And then this year that we're in, you know, you have in the budget 1,239,766. The expenditures, you have 1,220,298, and actually, the bond payments for this year ending 2014 are 1,270,297. So I guess I didn't understand why the expenditures were only 1,220,298.
Well, I can't let a fund go in the hole, just because there's not enough revenue in there and I gotta make my expenses. So I'm taking from another fund to make up the difference.
But again, we have an
Some money
ending
in.
fund balance,
Right.
and
I
that's,
gotta keep some in there for the next year, so I have something.
but actually, you do have to spend. You do have to make the whole payment for the bond. So why wouldn't that be expenditures? Why wouldn't the whole payment be in there?
Because I try to keep some in because we have to pay in November and May. So I wanna make sure, because we collect that as part of tax too, and I just to save myself, to make sure I have enough money to make my interest payment there in November, and then interest and principal will go again in May then.
So actually, we're borrowing all the time from other funds to make the TIF payments.
Till this TIF catches up.
Right, right.
You know,
But,
that's what's bad about real estate, we're always 3 years behind.
no, I understand, but I would think honestly that the expenditures need to really, you know, show that you actually do pay out
Well, then it'd be in the
what
negative.
what the bond, well, you know, I mean.
But I can't do that as far as the state, they won't let me have a negative fund. So we'll get wrote up for that too if we have a negative fund.
Well, I guess it just, you know, to me, it just isn't an accurate picture, you know, because,
But it's not like I'm hiding something or whatever, it will get paid back, I'll pay back TIF, as soon as TIF catches up, I'll pay back, you know, general basic, wherever I can take it, to make up the payments.
well, I guess my whole point is that tax money is what general basic is. And so
Well,
actually,
this money though that I'm using is from the money you borrowed. So, it's not entirely taxes.
the money you borrowed from where?
From previous or whatever, you know, I mean, it's all in the way you think about it, I guess, because we had to borrow for conservation, which are in general basic, and they did their addition. I didn't have the money in there, so we had to borrow for that. So we have that money now, so that's how I'm in turn paying my TIP payment for the interest that's coming due. You know.
Well, you know, I mean, and I know eventually there'll be enough money in the TIF, but I guess it just, you know,
It looks goofy right
currently,
now,
well,
yes.
it just doesn't look right. I mean,
But
you know,
I
because
can't have a fund in the hole, that's my problem.
well, I guess, you know, the public has thought that there was enough money in the TIF to pay everything. And you know, we're
But that's-
borrowing, and then we have
That's
to
where
pay.
everybody got misunderstood, because we didn't realize what levies would do, and that you guys subtract PEFO off, and
Yeah, I understand that.
to get that levy, and then what levy really dropped. I mean, there was a lot of unforeseen too.
I guess my only comment would be that this actually isn't showing what actually happens.
And once it catches up, I'll show it.
Yeah, but, then under, I did wanna ask, under mental health, and I don't know anything about that anymore, so I guess I just wanted to ask, it said, and I know you put everything down, Joel, you were telling me, that I know it, you're a bunch of counties together. I guess under that, I was just wondering, what is that general administration, it says $750,000. What, under this, Barb?
What's that?
And it shows no revenue or anything, well, on your sheet here. I just wondered, is that, and that's tax funds that are being raised? Okay,
That's all we collect now is property
Okay.
tax and give that to Butler County.
and then I have one other question, because, I know, and under Prairie Ridge, Treatment Services, Prairie Ridge, it's budgeted this year $4,100. What do you anticipate spending that for? Could you tell me?
No, is March Ward here?
Well, as far as our department would go for substance abuse, we would, we budget for some committals, and we budget, basically for some legal and some, let me just check here, just make sure I got it all right here, but, so I'll read it off. It's, diagnosis and exam related to commitments. So that's one part of it, and the other is treatment services. But basically, the treatment services is sheriff's transport charges and the legal services.
Okay.
And we do not do anything with the other account that is in here, is the treatment services outpatient.
So that could be, is that just for Prairie Ridge then? Or, I mean, things that are, people that are transported there, or I guess I don't, just didn't quite
Typically,
understand.
the practice in the past has been that it has been gone to, well, previously it went to Prairie Ridge, and then we had a county grant
Yeah.
for substance abuse. So, the last couple of years, it's been substance abuse, the grant.
Then does that mean, well, I know last year, and we're looking at other funding, you know, for Prime for Life, but, last year, I know Lowell said that was about the amount, wasn't it, Lowell, 4,100 or something, or was it 3,600? I don't remember.
It was, I think,
Yeah,
3,000 figure, 35 maybe.
and I know that, you know, you asked if we'd looked other places, and we are looking at, you know, grants and so on for Prime for Life. We do wanna continue it because, the underage drinking by the survey that the kids do themselves has dropped significantly in Mitchell County, so they think, you know, the people in the schools, Riceville, and we have principals in each of the schools now on our committee. And Stan, the one, and I don't know her name, Christy Wagner, she has just really been enthused this year. It's the first year we've done it there for, I think they did it one other time years ago. But I wondered, is any of that money going to be available then for, this year you helped to fund Prime for Life, you know, and we are going after grants.
I think I'd wait and see who else steps up. I think the hospital ought to step up on this. Don't you?
Well, they paid something last year.
Well, how much?
They paid a couple hundred.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess we could probably match that.
They paid a couple hundred, and and Rotary, you know, I'd asked them, and they said that our letter from last year would suffice, but that I didn't have to write a new grant, but I see it didn't. But they've kept some money
Would we get any of that
aside.
grant money, or
Pardon?
would we get any of that grant money, or?
You won't. We're raising money to pay for Prime for Life, so we don't have to ask the county.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Seems
the
like
whole.
the school should really be
Yeah, the school.
budgeting for it.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything to say about that.
No, I mean, we
you
don't
know.
either, but it just
You
seems
could go to
like.
their,
Right.
their hearing, or their school
Right.
board and tell them, you know, this
Right.
is part of the,
Right.
part of
But
the
anyway,
curriculum.
no, I just simply wanted to know if any of that would be available, and, because I saw it under there, and I saw Prairie Ridge, and that's what we used it for, so that was my question. Because I didn't know if we even did any, you know, I didn't know if we asked for any money at Prairie Ridge anymore. Well, you, Joe, we're both on the board, yeah, yeah.
Anything else, Mrs. McCarthy?
Well, that was mainly my thing. I was just really, I see each year that it seems to, the money that's, I do have another question, yeah. What is under committed and what is under restricted? I see that under committed, is that things, Barb, that just won't be paid for yet this year, or what? Under the ending fund balances on the front of the budget.
Yeah, that's stuff that is committed to a specific purpose. So
Well, isn't that kind of restricted?
some of it is restricted, the special revenues are restricted. But then like our debt payments and stuff, I'm pretty sure they go under committed because.
I was wondering what went under which, that is
Yeah.
what I was wondering. Yeah, well, I guess I'm kind of disappointed about how there's reads under the TIF, because, you know, obviously there is no fund balance. And there's a shortage each year until such
But
time.
we understood that we were gonna have a shortage each year, just because, again, when we had to borrow the money, and when taxes would start to come in, especially on the windmills, because the first year they basically have no valuation, and then 5%, 10%, 15, 20, and
I understand that.
we understood that from day one, that this is the process that we had to go through, and we were gonna have to play some catch-up, and in the meantime, we had to supplement that.
And not all the wind towers came online at the same time.
No, I understand that. I know which ones
There's
came
a
on.
lot of
Yeah.
unforeseen, you know, circumstances.
I
And
guess my
students-
only thing is that, you know, if the public thinks that TIF is free, and we really are having to take money from the general fund in part to make some payments.
Well, I see these two new bills are including industrial. So if they put a rollback on industrial too, that's gonna
No,
hurt.
they won't.
That's what both bills say.
I know, they'll never get there, Barb. It won't pass on industrial. Yeah.
But in many respects, TIF is, I don't wanna say free, but it's a very big benefit to the county, because the portion that goes to the school, 87.5% of that gets backfilled. So basically, we get, before the windmills took over in the Riceville and the St. Ansgar school districts, almost 50% of the property taxes that I paid went to the school. Now it's down to, I think, about 44%, because the windmills are coming, like you say, online, and so that's skewing the percentage. But in any event, when you had 50% of the property taxes going to the school, and 87.5% of that 50% was being backfilled by the state of Iowa, that was extra money coming into Mitchell County that otherwise wouldn't have come in. And so the state is helping us to pay our roads and our bridges and things that we're using TIF for, and that is substantial. And so, to some extent, yes, it is free money. I mean, yes, I realize it's taxpayer money, but if we wouldn't be using it, they'd be wasting it in Des Moines or someplace else. And so, we're able to actually help the taxpayers of Mitchell County much better by using TIF than if we didn't use TIF.
Yeah, Stan, that wasn't my point though, really, because I know you have kind of, well, I wrote a letter once that there was not, that we were short of money to make the payments, and you criticized me for that and said we have plenty of money. And all I'm doing is pointing out that eventually, yeah, there will be, I understand that, Stan, but right now, we do have to borrow from somewhere. And then once that money starts coming in, before it can be used for something else, it's my understanding, it has to be paid back to wherever it came from, because that's all that it's for.
That'll happen.
Yeah, so,
And we have no problem doing that.
yeah.
But that's the way the game gets to be played. That's the way the
Yeah,
thing is
well-
set up by the legislature, and we have to play their game.
Could I ask one other question then?
You're going to anyway.
Well,
wanna hear it.
it's a public hearing, yes, but you propose to use TIF for the courthouse regardless of whether it's new, refurbished, whatever. So, you know, how will that be addressed? I mean, you're gonna have to start on that sooner rather than later. So if there's not enough TIF yet right now to pay this, and the money has to be paid back first before you incur other indebtedness, then how will that be managed?
We'll probably have to use local option money first, and then until we can
Debt service?
get more of a value up.
Well, but the payments, do you propose, there will have to be a bond issue.
We'll have to see.
Well, I mean, where would you get the money otherwise? Or
Well,
borrow it
Jeff
from the
Idle
bank?
said we could borrow, what, 300 or 400,000 a year in Central County purpose bonds, and we don't have to have a vote.
But that wouldn't be enough to even,
That would pay payment for 1 year, wouldn't it?
I don't know, I'm just asking.
That
But
was one of his suggestions.
if you, like, if you propose in the end, and that's what you're kind of proposing, or is it not to use
I
TIF?
don't know what
or-
we're gonna do yet. We
Okay.
have no idea what's
Okay.
coming down.
Because we don't even know how much this is all gonna cost.
I think that night, that day Jeff came up, he laid out 4 scenarios that could possibly happen. As far as the TIF, like you said, I mean, we gotta wait to see where that catches up.
Sure.
I mean, that, you know, and there again, you know, by the time those bonds are paid off, we may have a few more stretches of road that need to be
Yeah.
upgraded.
Well, from what I'm hearing, balance supposed to be coming online next year, and then partial next year and full 2014, so
Yeah,
then there'll be more
And
TIF.
Barb, you mentioned that now, the one turbine is at 10%, the one turbine farm for next year, or for the year we're in now.
Yeah, for the new budget,
Is 10%
10
and
and
15.
15, yeah.
That's what I thought, but I thought I heard you say that it was 15 for both earlier, but no, it's 10 and
No, it's
15 for
10.
next year.
and even when ballot does come on, they're, whatever they're gonna pay in taxes, that, right, it's in the TIF, but it's never gonna pay the bonds. They have a minimum assessment
Right.
they have to make. So that TIF money, you might as well just,
Well, they said, didn't they, up front, that they would pay, if it wasn't enough to pay the tip, or, you
Right.
know,
Correct.
they would make the they
Yeah,
would.
300,000
Yeah, I'm
tip.
not concerned about that right now.
well,
Yeah.
anyway, well, just so
Yeah.
everybody knows.
No,
that-
I
that
understand, yeah,
whatever TIF dollars comes from there will never
sure,
reach the county.
okay.
Or
Thank
other
you.
than pay the bonds, I guess I should say. Yeah, I don't want you to, don't start worrying yet, but.
Well, it just has to be paid for somehow, and somehow, you know, and I know the levy didn't increase, but people, I mean, depending on the valuation of their property, you know, people
We're
can
very
pay more
lucky in this
taxes.
county, I think.
Yeah,
The
because,
valuations keep going up, and,
Right.
you know, a lot of other counties don't have it.
No, I
as
understand
sweet
that,
as we
Joe.
do.
but like I
So then they
say,
gotta raise it.
even though you can keep the levy the same, it does raise more money, and that way, I mean, some people, if it's not all new construction, some people are gonna be paying more regardless, because their valuation of their property went up. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Thank you.
Should put that new roof on.
Had to put a roof on, you know,
I
the
know.
hail damaged my roof.
I know,
That's maintenance.
I know, but see, then, when they come around and look at it, you know, if anybody does any improvements, well, then you pay more taxes. You know.
I didn't know a new roof, I mean, shingles would
No,
cost more.
probably doesn't.
It won't.
Does anybody else have any questions or concerns on the 2014 budget? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing at 9:25. Supervisors, do we have a motion to approve the 2014 fiscal year county budget?
I'll make that motion. To approve the 2014 budget.
Do we have a second?
I'm thinking here a minute. Don't jump into this, you know. Yes, I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the fiscal year 2014 county budget. Further discussion? Hearing none, Morel.
Aye.
Wolfman.
Aye.
Walk. Aye, motion carried. Let's take a 10-minute recess. Thank you all for coming this morning for the budget hearing. Department heads and County Engineer Brown, do you have?
Just a couple things here yet. I have the Asphalt Paving Association workshop this week, starts Wednesday. However, I got the glorious duty of being summoned again for jury duty, so I'll see how that goes. They usually allow you if you've got something going on. They let you walk out, I don't know, but I'll check that out. The city has borrowed one of our old backup to the backup motor graders. They had one go out the other day, the radiator went out and they couldn't get parts fast enough. So we borrow the old Cat to run through town. I think they might just use it for alleys or something. But the snow was coming, so we let them do that.
That wing or V-plow on
It had a one-way on it.
it? Okay, I didn't know.
And it's got the wing on it. I also am scheduling the LTAP has some motor grader training. And it's always good to get, I don't think our guys go to much training or anything like that, and it's always good, even if we've got the veterans, to get them back in the the mindset of the operation of the machine and how to do certain things on roads. So they'll have videos to go and watch. There's a $90 per person fee. It's in Tripoli, whatever you want to pronounce it. It's in May, so it should be out of snow season by then. And it's just, I know we've got a couple new guys, and it's always good to get a refresher course taken care of too. So I'm going to send a couple guys down there. Other than that, I'm reviewing our 6-month review on Marlon's wages yet. And I hope to bring something next week to you guys for that after I talk to him. And getting some stuff worked out on the Primrose Bridge that's closed north of Stacy. On the gravel up there. So we get something.
North of the hog.
North of the hog confinement, yeah, get that open back.
Got some pipes in there at
Yeah.
one time. Is there another bridge?
That's the next road over, I think, is the Ocean is the one that has the pipes.
Okay, yeah, you're right,
Right.
Yep.
This one's further
Yeah.
down, so
Yeah.
we're gonna put
Primrose
some
is
right south of, or somewhere on that
Primrose is on
road.
Marvin Road.
So we're gonna try to put some triple and a low water crossing in there, just to make things a little cheaper. It's really close though on calculations that it won't take much of a crossing, I think, to.
Well, the traffic count is slow enough. I mean, if we had a Missouri crossing,
We can-
I mean,
And we can put a speed limit through there too, to reduce speeds, so that they're not, well, it's one of those liability things. Well, if we don't have a speed limit up and there's a dip in there, people are gonna go airborne and crash, but we can do that too. We can reduce the speed for that dip
You
in the
got one
road.
on the Cedar Road there.
Yeah, and that one's,
Found an airborne the other day,
Yeah.
even with the sign.
we've got that survey done. We're just trying to get it in CAD so we can figure out what we need to do,
Yeah.
so. Other than that, not a whole lot to report on, other than the snow is gonna be a good one, so.
Yeah, it's wet too.
It's a little heavier than the normal one. It's not sloppy wet, but
No, but it's
we'll
good.
get everything opened up, and I suppose we'll be back out tomorrow pushing everything off to the side. But as far as I know, I haven't had any breakdowns today yet. So.
how's our salt?
I'm running the salt down, but we're gonna be in good shape. We have till June to take the rest of the delivery, so we're keeping a close eye on it. I think we'll be fine. If we do, we'll just call them and start delivering it. So we're obligated to take 80% of what we ordered. I think we're obligated to take 80% of what we ordered. They're obligated to provide 20% more than what we ordered. I think with prices, and we'll look at the budget a little bit, maybe I might order that extra 20%, so we've got it taken care of. So when prices go up next time around, we've saved a little bit of money. And we'll have the storage, there's no doubt about that.
What time did the guys go to work this morning?
I think they went out by 5. I didn't call and talk to Merlin yet today, he was out running, so.
Are we having any success with plans on new shop at
Yeah,
Sanskrit?
yep, we're working through that. We've got, I was trying to get ahold of Ivan the other day to find out where we were with the lot purchase, but I handed it over to Jim to do some more layout stuff, but I think we've got a layout pretty well nailed down. I've talked to a couple I talked to one, is it Crescent Electric out of Dubuque or whatever? They keep sending stuff, and I've talked to him, and he sent me a layout for some lighting, so I've got some lighting layouts done. I've got a layout for the overhead crane all set up, so we've got a 4-stall with an additional stall running along the back. We're close. So as long as we can figure out what we're doing with the lot, then we're close, but good and close. We've been working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to redesign everything after we got the lot, and we kind of looked at some things and twisted it on the lot a little bit and tried to figure out where we wanted our doors to open. So then, after looking at that and putting a crane in there, we kind of just swapped around. I mean, it's a rectangle, so it's just a matter of where we're slotting everything through there. But
Well, yeah, because I mean, like this morning, and I couldn't tell if they actually had been down T26 or not before. He was just coming down at, going to St. Ansgar at, when I left this morning, about 7:25, and of course, like you say, that's
the tail end, yep.
That's our second busiest
Road in the county.
road in the county, and
No, it'll give them some good, getting something there will give them some room to work. I mean, I don't disagree at all, so. Yeah, that's the next push now is we've got the hickory box going, we've got Primrose we're looking at, we've got the building going, so we've got.
well, that ties up a bunch of loose ends really for us if we get
Yeah.
that all
Yeah,
those
that-
done, and then.
Yep. And I think I've maybe figured out a way too, after looking at some other county stuff, to make it easier on specifications. There's some counties with 2-page specs, you know, I kinda gave you guys a packet last time, based on what Jim did when we first did when we did a building before, and I thought we can make it a lot easier by saying here. So there's some with 2 pages worth of specs, I think I gave you guys that were 30, but
30 specs.
page, yeah.
30
you know,
pages.
Yeah, we can reduce that and kind of make it all on the contractor, make it a lot easier. So, that'll be good. And we'll get those branch things figured out as soon as we get done back out brush cutting. The one on Tietz's and north of town here.
Okay, anything else for Engineer Brown?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you, Richie.
All right, have a good week.
The only other thing I have on my agenda, if I'm not mistaken, is the cyber insurance.
Yep.
And
Cyber insurance.
Supervisor Volkmeier,
What
would
is-
you wanna?
What is cyber risk? It seems, and then I also gave you a copy of the letter that Judy sent along about certain Laurel County being, hackers have gotten into their payroll,
Oh, yeah,
bank accounts, and so they got everybody's routing numbers, and so it is out there and it is a problem. The Heartland and this month, they wanna know, do we want, this type of coverage for the counties, and it's, the premium would be $95,000, not for Mitchell County, but I think that's for the whole.
So basically 9,500 for us. I mean,
Probably, yeah.
more or less. I think it would be worth it.
Well, anymore, you're seeing it more and more, and, you know, we've had this discussion with them for over a year, you know, and then finally we said, you know, go out for bids. I think they looked at Ace and Beasley and Chartis, I think, and Chartis is the one that we felt it was, give us the most coverage for our money. There's quite anybody wants to look at this, you know, goes.
Well, you know, if they can hack into the Pentagon and everything, I'm sure they can hack into Mitchell County.
Possible, yep, exposures are human error, hackers, rogue
No, we're
employees.
smarter than the Pentagon, Lowell.
Everything we really wanna see.
The only thing saving us is we're less important.
You can also pay your taxes online, so, I mean,
Yeah.
so we do have exposure, I'd say. So I think this month going down, I guess what I need to know is, does the county wanna, think it's a good idea, and should we move forward with it? I guess.
I would say it is,
Okay.
Supervisor
Yeah,
Brown.
you bet.
So, then I would,
Yeah, I
Consensus
agree with
of the
you.
board then, that
Consensus to go.
we at least feel that
it's a good thing.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's too far.
Things are being done in here and in the future, and
And we did have
protection.
a questionnaire, like 2 months ago that I'd given to Barb, and she filled out and sent it in, kinda went through it, you know, so.
Well, I guess there was one other meeting attended that all three supervisors last week did go up to Moore County along with,
Bike trail.
Well, that was in the minutes.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
It'll get covered in the minutes. Look promising.
looks promising. Outside of that, is there anything else for the good of the cause?
Anything?
If not, we'll stand adjourned at 9:50. Any other